War has a way of destroying everything: bodies, cities, even hope. But in the darkest moments of World War II, when bullets stopped flying and silence returned, another enemy waited: infection. For countless soldiers, a tiny wound was a death sentence. Antiseptics were gone. Bandages turned black with blood. And medics, out of options, began searching for miracles. Then, something strange happened. From the ashes of burnt wood, from the very fires that cooked their food and warmed their hands, a gray, lifeless powder began saving lives. No one could explain it at first. How could the remains of destruction become a tool of healing? Yet, time and again, it worked. Men who should have died from infection began to recover. And soon, whispers spread across battlefields about a secret remedy made not in a lab, but in the dirt and smoke of war itself. Today, we uncover one of the most extraordinary forgotten discoveries of World War II: how ordinary wood ash became a soldier's last line of defense, and why this ancient chemistry still holds the power to save lives. By 1942, the war had stretched across continents, from the frozen forests of Belarus to the deserts of North Africa and the jungles of the Pacific. Soldiers were running out of everything: food, fuel, and especially medical supplies. Frontline medics often treated dozens of wounded men with only a few drops of iodine and scraps of cloth. Antibiotics like penicillin were rare and reserved for the most critical cases. In those moments of desperation, necessity became the greatest teacher. Medics began recalling old folk methods, things passed down by villagers, farmers, and indigenous healers. And one remedy kept resurfacing: wood ash. When campfires burned through the night, fine white ash collected at their base. Someone, perhaps a local healer, perhaps a soldier with old knowledge, mixed that ash with water. The result was a pale, gritty paste. When applied to a wound, something strange happened. The infection slowed, the bleeding stopped, and the wound began to dry and close rather than rot. Soon, word spread. In remote field hospitals, in partisan camps, and in makeshift shelters, ash became the doctor when no other medicine could be found. So how could ash, something burned and dead, help the living? The secret lies in its chemistry. When wood burns completely, it leaves behind mineral compounds, mostly potassium carbonate, calcium oxide, and magnesium oxide. These are alkaline substances, meaning they're hostile to bacteria, fungi, and parasites. When mixed with clean water, ash forms a mild alkaline solution. It can cleanse wounds and neutralize infection, all without the painful sting of alcohol. And when combined with animal fat, the paste thickens into a natural salve. The fat keeps the wound sealed and moist, while the minerals in the ash continue fighting off infection underneath. Essentially, soldiers had created a primitive antiseptic, a natural disinfectant born from fire. Even surgical instruments were cleaned this way. Boiling them in ash water acted as a crude form of chemical sterilization, reducing infections dramatically in the field. They didn't have laboratories, but they had chemistry. In 1943, deep in the forests of Belarus, Soviet partisans were completely cut off from their supply lines. They had wounded men, no doctors, and nothing left but campfires. So they used what they had. They took the ash from birch fires, mixed it with bear fat, and applied it to bullet wounds and frostbite. The alkaline ash reduced infection. The fat shielded exposed flesh from freezing air. Many of those men later said this crude mixture saved not just their limbs, but their lives. Thousands of miles away, in the deserts of North Africa, British troops faced the same problem. When antiseptics ran out, they burned palm leaves for ash, mixed it with oil, and packed it into wounds. Reports from field medics noted that wounds treated with this method often healed faster and cleaner than those left untreated. Across continents, across armies, the same discovery, repeated by men who'd never met. Proof that survival doesn't always need science. It needs understanding. Now, no one is suggesting that ash replaces modern medicine, but recreating this process can be an incredible educational or survival experiment. Here's how soldiers did it safely. They used only clean hardwood ash, from oak, birch, hickory, or acacia. Never from treated or painted wood, which can be toxic. The ash was sifted to remove charcoal chunks, leaving a fine gray powder. For cleaning, they mixed 1 part ash to about 5 parts boiled, cooled water. They let it settle for 15 minutes, then used the clear liquid as a gentle wash. To make a healing paste, they mixed equal parts fine ash and animal fat, or vegetable oil, until it formed a soft, spreadable salve. Applied thinly over wounds and covered with clean cloth, this mixture often stopped infections before they could spread. Even without formal education, soldiers understood something essential. Chemistry, when used wisely, can save lives. The story of the World War II ash remedy is about more than survival. It's about knowledge. It reminds us that healing isn't locked in laboratories or hospitals. It's in understanding how the world around us works. Wood ash is proof that even destruction, something burned to dust, can give life again. It turned the waste of war into a tool for survival. For historians, preppers, and survivalists, it's a perfect bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science. Even today, clean wood ash can still be used in emergencies, to wash hands, clean tools, or disinfect small cuts when nothing else is available. In a world where everything depends on technology, it's easy to forget that simplicity once saved millions. The soldiers who used ash didn't have antibiotics, medicine, or even hope. But they had understanding. They looked at what the earth gave them and turned it into life. The WWII ash remedy stands as a symbol of resilience, of human ingenuity in the face of despair. Because sometimes the greatest discoveries don't come from scientists. They come from survivors. If you love learning about forgotten wartime innovations and real survival wisdom, make sure to subscribe, because history's best secrets are still hiding in plain sight.